Now at 5, canine flu is spreading through animal shelters across the country. We'll look at the local impact. Plus, we'll have some tips on ways to repurpose your live Christmas trees after the holidays. They can benefit the environment.
Addressing the nation's gun violence crisis, I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill as victims' families press lawmakers to find some bipartisan solutions.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Humans aren't the only ones who need to watch out for the flu this season. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Although this pooch is healthy, there's a rise in flu cases this winter among canines. The dog flu is contracted between dogs and cannot spread to humans. A veterinarian at Broadway Animal Hospital in Pittsburgh says they treated around 30 dogs within the past 2 weeks that tested positive for the flu.
If your dog is coughing, if they're just not acting themselves, maybe they're a little bit more tired, they're not eating as much, if you think they've got a fever, anything like that, go ahead and give your vet a call and get them checked out as soon as possible.
To learn more about canine flu, click on the link at koamnewsnow.com. More and more people are switching to electric vehicles, but one of the main problems facing EV owners is a lack of charging stations, especially in more rural areas like 4 states. The Biden administration this year announced a $5 billion plan to create a nationwide network of EV charging stations over the next 5 years. We caught up with an EV driver making his way along Route 66, raising awareness about the growing need.
Get it recognized that it is a problem, and with locals, local communities, they need to start working on putting in more EV charging stations. It's going to come to a point where it's going to be mandated that there'll be an EV charging station at least every 50 miles. Ready? Yeah.
There are a few different kinds of EV chargers, with the fastest level 3 chargers able to charge a battery fully in about half an hour. Everyone has their own personal taste in Christmas trees. Some get an artificial tree, others get live ones. However, not everyone knows what to do with their live Christmas tree after the holiday season. Local experts tell us there are a few ways to repurpose a live tree. One is to turn them into a source of feeding or shelter for small animals.
When the holidays are going on, this is a beautiful tree. It's all prettied up. Once the holidays are over with, it kind of becomes excess baggage sometimes for the home. Well, don't think of it like that. Just think of something you can repurpose and, give benefit to local wildlife.
Repurposing a live Christmas tree after the holidays can turn your tradition into a positive environmental impact. Tree growers and the rest of us could use some rain. Let's check in with Sam.
That's right, Doug. It's been a drought across our area for quite some time, and the new drought monitor map came out today. We did see some improvement, though. You can notice that the exceptional drought has retreated a little bit further to the west, still extreme over southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. Improvement also in southwestern Missouri because of that rainfall that we had a few days ago. No rain on the radar right now, but that's going to be changing as we head towards the early part of next week. So for this evening, 35 degrees at 6 o'clock, 33 at 8, and down to freezing at 10 o'clock and down to 24 by tomorrow morning. And a look down the lane, we have a chilly weekend in store for our area, maybe some Monday snow, and then a bitter cold wave, and yes, perhaps a white Christmas, and I'll have all the details in just a little bit.
We'll see you soon. Family members of those who died in the Uvalde, Texas school shooting were on Capitol Hill today for a hearing examining gun violence. Their raw and heartfelt testimony ran up against divisive politics surrounding gun control. Reporter Skyler Henry has details from Capitol Hill.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee opened a hearing on gun violence with a recording of the shots fired inside Robb Elementary School that killed 10-year-old Tess Mata and 20 others.
She will never graduate high school, never fall in love herself, never be present at my wedding. And we will never know how scared she was in her last moments in that classroom.
Tess's older sister, Faith, described her bright younger sister, but wanted answers from lawmakers about what brought her there.
Are we not tired of hearing the stories of victims? Of hearing them from victims' families? Are we not tired of hearing yet another tragedy because of gun violence? When is enough enough?
While Mata delivered emotional testimony, committee members on both sides of the aisle stuck to their gun control talking points.
Without an assault weapons ban, more people will die. And if we're not going to ban them, then law enforcement must be trained to confront these weapons of war.
There's only one solution for my friends across the aisle, that is to emasculate the Second Amendment and remove guns from legal, lawful, and law-abiding citizens.
Lawmakers also heard from the ER doctor on duty when the Uvalde victims were brought in.
You should know, they didn't get buried looking sweet and happy like their photos. Some were missing limbs, some had holes in their tiny chests. You might mistakenly imagine a funeral where a child lies peacefully in a colorful coffin. But make no mistake, there's no peace in the death of a child by a weapon of war.
Congress did pass stricter gun control laws in June following the Uvalde massacre. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
There will be a divided Congress beginning in the new year, making any new gun control legislation very unlikely. A judge today handed down the longest prison term so far in the plot to kidnap Michigan's governor. Authorities say the three men sentenced forged an early alliance with a leader of this scheme before the FBI broke it up in 2020. They were not charged with having a direct role in the conspiracy, but they were members of a paramilitary group that trained with the leader, who separately faces a possible life sentence on September 27th for his federal conviction. Russia has released an American citizen in a mass prisoner swap with Ukraine. He was a U.S. Air Force veteran who lived in Ukraine and was detained by pro-Russian forces several months ago. 46 Ukrainian soldiers were also released in that swap with Russia. There's been a sharp increase in prisoner exchanges between Russia and Ukraine in recent months, even as the Kremlin continues to target Ukrainian towns and cities. Still ahead, some tips to avoid injuries while decorating your home for the holidays. And next in Health Watch, how sensory rooms at the World Cup are giving some fans a chance to enjoy the game in a more calming space. Topping today's Health Watch, gun deaths jumped from 2019 to 2020, and most of those impacted were men. A new analysis of data over the last 2 decades shows Black men are most affected by homicide, while white men were more likely to die of suicide. Firearm homicide rates for Black Americans were nearly 7 times those of white Americans. The bright lights and roaring crowds at sporting events can be overwhelming for those with sensory challenges, so organizers at the World Cup are calling a timeout for fans who want their own space to enjoy the game. Reporter Tina Kraus has that story.
The thunderous scenes of celebration at the World Cup are what many soccer fans savor. But for others, the sensory overload outside and especially inside the stadium can become too much.
Sometimes it gets a bit too overwhelming within the stadium bowl, and this is a calm and secure environment that people can retreat to and enjoy the game from here.
Sensory rooms have opened in 3 of Qatar's World Cup stadiums.
If you really want to get in on the clapping, you can go like that.
To give children and adults with autism and other sensory challenges a quiet place to relieve anxiety.
Everybody should have the right and the opportunity to experience football. Football is a universal sport. It's a universal language.
They're all very tactile.
Allison Saraf has a child with autism and says getting an assist like this at such a huge event is a big win for everyone.
The hope is that we might ignite a new passion in a child or an adult that's never experienced this before.
Floor-to-ceiling windows let families keep an eye on the game while enjoying a safe space in the stadium.
You could find that one person actually will just stand here and just touch this one, just because it is actually it's just a really lovely kind of comforting feeling.
Having a space like this is a respite, and so it's kind of a warm hug.
And comfort is the goal, to give everyone the best shot at enjoying the game. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Here in the U.S., many Major League Soccer teams, along with the NFL and NBA, now provide sensory-friendly rooms for their fans. Airports, theaters, and malls are also starting to add them to them. People with cluster headaches might be 3 times more likely to have other health conditions, forcing them to take far more time off work than those without the short but extremely painful headaches. A new study from the American Academy of Neurology finds those with cluster headaches may also suffer from heart disease, mental disorders, and other neurologic diseases. Researchers found that those with at least one other condition missed 4 times as many days of work. If coming down with COVID-19 impacted your taste and smell, well, that might also mean you developed stronger immunity against the virus. A new study from Columbia University looked at more than 300 adults who got COVID in 2020. They found that those who lost their taste and smell were about twice as likely to have higher levels of COVID-19 antibodies. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, good news from the Labor Department concerning jobless numbers.
And it was a chilly day today, but colder weather is on the way. I'll have all the details when we return. Well, winter has returned to the 4 states as far as the temperatures go. No winter-like precipitation, but that's going to be changing too as we go through our forecast. But no winter-like weather out there right now. Instead, just cloudy skies and traffic moving along pretty nicely with our Lander Chevrolet over there on I-44. Apologize for that. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. There it goes. And we're looking at temperatures pretty pleasant for December. Not that bad. 41 was the high, starting out at 28, which was slightly below the normals of 48 and 29. Check out 2021. Just 1 year ago, we were 76 degrees, set a new record high. But look at this, -8 back in 1989. Keep that date in mind because this pattern is looking like 1983 and 1989 as far as Decembers go. Don't think we're going to see -8, but it's going to be pretty close. And we'll show you that in just a little bit. Radar right now is all clear. Nothing really going on there. Temperatures this afternoon, as I mentioned, struggled to get out of the 30s across a large part of our area. It did reach into the lower 40s down to the south in Pryor and in Grove with 41, 41 in Afton, also 41 here in Joplin. A little bit cooler up in Garnett with 34 degrees currently right now. Let's take a look and see over the last 36 hours. We've been basically hovering right around that 40-degree mark, dipping down into the 20s, and that's going to continue right on through the weekend. Temperatures right now in Joplin, it's 37, a little bit bite to the wind with the west wind at 15, and it feels like 28 as a result. The dew point's down there at 18, so the humidity is low at 46%. Taking a look down the road, we had this big storm system that moved in a few days ago, delivering the cold air. And as we go through the weekend, that cold air is going to continue to funnel down from the north just in time to meet up with this storm system moving in from the deserts of the southwest. And by Sunday night and Monday morning, we're going to see rain and snow start to break out across Oklahoma and spread across our area as we go through the day on Monday. So let's break it down for you. Tonight, we're going to see mostly fair skies, a few clouds, nothing really going on with lows in the 20s. So a pretty chilly night across the area. Then as we go through the day tomorrow, temperatures will struggle to get out of the 30s, mid-30s across most of the area with westerly winds. Then as we go through tomorrow night into Saturday morning, we'll start to see lows again in the 20s with northwesterly winds continuing and the dry air in place as well. Then as we go into Saturday, we're going to see highs in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees, much like today. And then as we go into Saturday night into Sunday, a quote warm front, if you want to call it a warm front, will start to advance in from the south and west. Really, it's more of a wind shift line with lows generally still in the 20s as we head into Sunday morning. All right, the next storm system as it moves in, how much snow are we expecting? Well, the forecast right now is indicating around 0.2 of an equivalent precip. Now, if you move the decimal place 1 point, that's about 2 inches. So this is the current forecast right now, around 1.5 to 2 inches possible on Monday. But we'll keep an eye on that for you. Over the next 7 days, 38 on Friday, 37 on Saturday, a little bit warmer on Sunday. Then we have the alert day on Monday with that snow moving in, around 1 to 3 inches possible across our area. And then take a look at Wednesday night into Thursday. We start out at 32 at night, drop all day on Thursday, and by Thursday night we'll be 5 degrees.
So what you're saying is the high is going to be at midnight and that's going to be freezing.
That's correct.
And from there, it's
all downhill.
Wow.
Wait till you see the extended.
I don't think I want to. Yes, Sam. It could be worse. Take a look. A state of emergency is declared in tornado-ravaged Louisiana where at least 3 people are dead, including a mother and her 8-year-old son. Nearly 50 tornadoes have been reported across the South so far, 16 of them in Louisiana. And the threat isn't over yet. The storm system has shifted to the east and forecasts show more than 15 million people could see severe weather in parts of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Coming up, staying safe while putting up those holiday decorations. First, though, we honor a local veteran. William Husky served in the U.S. Army in 1944 and 1945. Carl Junction, Missouri native was stationed in France, and we salute Staff Sergeant William Husky, a four-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes, thousands of them from all across this area. We also invite you to submit a hero of your own anytime. It's really simple. You just click on the link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Topping today's Consumer Watch, jobless claims have fallen to their lowest level since September. Data released today shows the number of people seeking unemployment benefits for the first time dropped to 211,000. That's 20,000 fewer claims than the previous week, although economists were expecting claims to rise. Consumer spending has also fallen. In November, U.S. retail sales dropped by 0.6% compared. That's according to the Commerce Department. That's a sign that consumers are pulling back on spending amid continued inflation woes. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says there are nearly 200 Christmas-related injuries every day during the holiday season, and sometimes those accidents can become deadly. Wendy Gillette explains.
The holidays turned tragic in a neighborhood outside of Philadelphia last year. Early Christmas morning, crews battled a two-story house fire. A mother and one son escaped, but the father and two children who were trapped inside died. Investigators believe a faulty electric star on top of a dry Christmas tree sparked the fire. This demonstration from the Consumer Product Safety Commission shows just how dangerous a dry tree can be. The tree on the left has been watered regularly. 30 seconds after being lit, it smolders out. The tree on the right is dry. The flames spread quickly, and in a matter of seconds, the room is engulfed in flames.
Around Christmas, we see a lot of hazards associated with decorating.
Alex Hohen-Sarek is the chair of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and says candles also pose a danger. In this demonstration, a misplaced candle on a menorah ignites the curtains. And every year, thousands of people get hurt putting up decorations.
What are the most common injuries you see at Christmas time?
We do see a lot of falls associated with ladders and people using them to put up decorations.
Decorations need to be double-checked for defects. Lights shouldn't have any frayed wires or loose sockets. Making sure they don't can prevent a tragedy this holiday season. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
The Sunshine State has a cloudy forecast for its signature citrus. Florida's orange crop is expected to fall to its lowest level since before World War II. According to the Department of Agriculture, Florida farmers should produce around 20 million boxes of oranges. That would be a 51% drop from 2021 and the smallest crop since 1937. That, of course, is going to cause orange juice prices at the grocery store to rise accordingly, and some analysts say this upward trend in cost will likely continue in 2023. According to the Department of Labor's Occupational Information Network, urologists have the most stressful job in the nation. Film and video editors have the second most stressful job, followed in third place by anesthesiologist assistants. Others in the top 10 include acute care nurses, judges, and retail supervisors. The findings are based on nearly 900 jobs in the U.S. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a look at the rise in gun ownership among women. Then on KOAM News at 6, a former Joplin youth minister is sentenced in federal court for child sex crimes. Plus, we're going to have more on canine flu spreading among pets in our area. And the city of Pittsburgh announces it has a new mayor. Stay with us, CBS Evening News, and then KOAM News at 6. It's chilly, maybe even cold out there, but that ain't nothing, folks. It's going to get a lot colder.
That's exactly right. We're going to have a pretty chilly weekend in store with temperatures in the 30s during the afternoon, 44 on Sunday. That'll be a heat wave in comparison to what's coming. Then we have a snowstorm system moving in on Monday, and then the bottom really drops out as we move into Thursday. And take a look at the extended Dow just for you because you've been a good boy this year. I'm going to throw in some flurries for Christmas with a high of only 15 degrees.
Oh, thank you.
And look at the lows, 0 on Friday morning.
I'd rather not. We'll see you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.